Engadget makes a bold claim that's backed by major sources in the gaming community. GFN is the best cloud gaming service, hands down, all the way around. Oh, is that a fact? Let's get into it.
Stay sick cause I follow my gut. They say I was pushing my luck. I'ma push me a matte all black truck. I'm not sorry.
What's up, people? What's up, people? What's up, people? It is your boy MM2K back again with another video. My deep apologies for that mix up there. I got the stream playing in the background, and I foolishly did not mute the stream playing. So I got you got a double dose of loudness, you know. But big ups to everybody that is watching this live. Big ups to anybody that is watching this on demand. I'm not going to spend too much time like I normally do trying to tweet this out to everybody because I got a very, very special show that I'm going to be a part of very soon. And we're going to, it's going to be very entertaining. It's called The Best Damn Podcast, period. Look, full disclosure, it is very raunchy. It is not for the faint of heart. It is on Next Gen 720's channel. So if you're into some of the raunchy gaming humor, definitely join us there. I want to say at about 1:30, we're gonna go live there. So, you know, definitely stay posted to my MM2K page to get more details on that. Here's the deal, people. We had a tweet that I thought was very interesting that I saw this morning. We've also had a bunch of other stuff going on that people have talked to me about behind the scenes, and I really was like trying to avoid it because I didn't want to fan the flames of the idiot herd, for lack of a better term. I didn't want to do that, and because I didn't want to do that, I said, you know what? I'm ignoring what's being said out here. Even though people said, MM2K, this might be something that you want to address. But we already got people commenting in here, man. Stadia Weekly, big ups to Stadia Weekly. Stadia Weekly, let me see. Are you a mod? No, you are now a mod, my friend. I need you to drop your link to your channel while we're doing this. Please sign up to Stadia Weekly. Great content, another great Stadia provider. We got Dan Ordaway in the house. We got my Nightbot spamming y'all. Want to escape my homie Duncan, and then Cold Blood says, say, yo. What is up? Okay, so let's get right into it, y'all. There's a reason why I'm here. And again, like I said earlier, I didn't want to give light to this because it's based upon a bunch of lies, a bunch of rhetoric, and stuff like that really didn't deserve my attention. Because I will say that the Stadia community, even though I love this community, one of my issues that I had with the community is that when this muck started to hit the surface, that everybody would run and scatter, right? And I get it. Some people say, I don't want to entertain it, but you got to understand, this is just the norms of the industry and of the community right now. And if we who know the truth shy away from telling the truth, then the unsuspecting gamers hit with nothing but lies. And Stadia can provide something for a lot of people, like how it did for me, ways to take them back into gaming, ways to supplement their gaming on the go, and things of that nature that they would have missed out on if people like us don't speak up and tell the truth or tell the whole story. And again, we don't tell the truth with the expectation that everybody that we talk to is going to believe what we believe or like what we like. That's not what it's about. But it's about, again, showing the truth to the unsuspecting gamers so they can make a fair and balanced analysis. Not us trying to play mind control, not trying to be the all-seeing eye and curtail people's purchasing decision to make us feel better. You know what I'm saying? To satisfy our agendas. And me and my homie Chase of Stadia Talk, we talked about that this past Thursday on Stadia Stream Connect. Definitely check that out if you missed this after that. You know what I mean? But we're not trying to divert people's buying purchases into something that we like. We just want people to be informed so they can make the most informed decisions. I ran into that a few generations ago when I was getting back into gaming after a hiatus. And if it wasn't for my brother doing the same for me, telling me, hey, look, man, don't listen to the Geek Squad. Don't listen to Best Buy. Don't listen to this publication. Don't listen to that. This is the stuff that you like. I know what you like. Therefore, here's what you want to go get into. And I would get flack from the general population. That doesn't exist. Or you're not able to do that. And my brother would show me otherwise. And I was just so perplexed at what has gaming become, where the community at large is not about trying to help other gamers get the best experience that they're personally looking for, but we want everybody to agree with us. I mean, I get it. A lot of it is just shallow intentions because personally, I mean, hell with it. I'll just go there. Maybe some of us just have abysmal lives to where if we're playing this mind control game over the internet, that makes us feel better as a person. I don't know. Or maybe it's just that you think because if you can get everybody to buy what you like, that'll ensure its survival, whether they like it or not. No, I mean, if what you like is great, and if it's as good as what you say it is, then there'll be enough support behind it to garner it and keep it in existence. Don't throw somebody into the wind and have them purchase into something that isn't even for them for your own personal sake. That's the most selfish thing that you can do. And what I started to see was beyond the rhetoric and the lies and the big wigs that have agenda. I started to see the latter. I'm starting to see people spread these lies because I guess for whatever reason, one of the reasons that I gave to try to bolster their gaming choice. And you let the gamers decide. Don't try to do that for them. I think that's the most non-gamer and most disgusting thing that you can do within this community. To hell with the console war stuff. I hear people say, "Oh, the console war stuff is horrible and it's this and it's that," and then it does have its distasteful side to it. But I think lying to people or shortchanging them on facts to suit your narrative so you can have more people, quote unquote, agree with you is more repulsive than the console war itself. It's just disgusting, and it goes against what gaming should be about. We have people that are doing this now, telling other gamers that Geforce now is something that it isn't. People went and bought games for this service based upon those lies and those half-truths, and now they're out of money because, for example, games are no longer there. Or when they tried to boot up the game on their hardware, they were told, don't get it on Stadia, get it here, and it doesn't work well, or a litany of other things. So it's just time for this stuff to stop. It's time for us to think about the whole gaming public. It's time for us that if we have a certain opinion about something, let's show all of the facts, pick the ones that we are true and dear to our gaming decisions, and say, here, this is why, based upon all this information, why I feel the way that I do. If you feel the same way, this is why I think this should be the choice for you. Not lying to people and telling them, well, this can't perform well, or this has latency, or this looks better than this, just to suit your own narrative. That's a horrible thing to do. Before we get started, let me check out the comments one last time. Chariot Man Gaming, what's up? Cold Blood Sensei, who are you talking about? I'm confused here. You're about to see in 2 seconds. Okay, so to Cold Blood Sensei's point, here's what we had happen. Let me do this. Am I sharing my screen? Let me share my screen. Share screen. Do I just want to share? No, I want to share the entire screen. Where the hell is it at? Okay. Let me just see. Okay, yeah, okay, now it's sharing the screen. All right. So there was an article and a video from Engadget.com. And the video was labeled "Why GeForce Now Makes Stadia Whack." And then they followed up the video with this article talking about why GeForce Now is in every way, shape, form, or fashion better than Stadia. Okay. And I don't have a problem with if somebody says, you know what, I feel that A service is better than B. We look, and Chase knows what I'm talking about. In his Discord, I think that the discussion is ongoing. We're going through an ongoing discussion that started on Wednesday that, in the same regards, it's been respectful and we've been mindful and all other stuff. And there's no ill will whatsoever because it's based upon facts, but no one is taking the actual facts and caveating them to make it their truth. They're saying, hey, this is my experience. And because of my experience and the things that I'm looking for, this is why I feel the way that I feel. And I think that there is a market that feels the way that I feel. Nothing wrong with that. However, you have this article out here that's full of lies. And people were asking me, MM2K, this is full of bullcrap. Are you going to do your typical in-your-face analysis and prove them wrong? And I'm like, no, because I don't really see it getting any traction, for one. And for two, there does come a point to where we're doing exactly what they want us to do, where these publications put out this most inflammatory stuff. They feel there's not going to be heavy repercussions to it. And they get us all angered about it. And then that still gives them clicks. That gives them exactly what they want. So I didn't want to do that. However, I saw this post from Paris Lilly. And again, I'm not trying to attack anybody. I'm just trying to attack the notion. And look, believe you me, I know that Paris Lilly online has been under attack for some questionable tweets. One that he sent to Porter Rock. And those of you that I'm not trying to pile on there. That's not what this attempt is. I just want to point out where I have an issue with. Now, here's what Paris tweeted. He says, you want to know why Google Stadia has been a disaster so far? Andre Dorinchev, the head of their gaming experience, thinks launching and acting like a startup in an established market is okay, while the competition outpaces them in every step of the way. That's where this post went wrong. Because somebody sees that and they say, oh, well, I'm seeing an ongoing debate about Google Stadia versus a GFN. There's pros and cons. I've decided that even though there's pros and cons on both sides, that the pros are more in the favor of what I like for Stadia. I'm interested in picking this thing up. And then they see something like this from someone like Paris, who has the blue check mark and the big numbers. Remember how I tell you that's not their integrity score, folks. They see that and then they say, oh, well, why he wouldn't post nothing like this out there unless it was 110% true, right? And that couldn't be the furthest thing from the truth. See, here's the thing that we need to understand in regards to Paris. And he's entitled to his own opinion. I don't have a problem with that. But the problem with Paris's tweet isn't his disdain simply for Google Stadia's model. And believe you me, this has nothing to do with the launch lineup. Like if you think, oh, well, Paris was open-minded about the launch lineup and Google just failed to launch and therefore that's why he's doing, no. Paris has a history in regards to Google's model that he wasn't in favor of this since it was Projekt Stream. And let's just go down the pipeline. Let's just go down the timeline here to show what I'm talking about. First and foremost, he's always been void of the benefits of online versus a dedicated device solution. From the onset, he doubted Projekt Stream. There's episodes of Gamertag Radio to show that he's on with Godfrey and homie Pete Rock, where when Godfrey was talking about how well it worked, he was just doubtful then. Oh, well, I don't believe that or whatever, you know. Instead of being someone that if you're doing this type of service, whether you're originally in favor of it or not, be knowledgeable for the unsuspecting gamers. Just become part of the damn beta like Godfrey does. He's more look, and Godfrey wouldn't argue with this, I would believe. He's more technically inclined than Godfrey is, and Godfrey signed up for the beta. You know what I mean? So I don't get where people are so vocal adamantly about something they have never put their hands on. And that display from Paris was there from the beginning. And then, to be fair, there was an episode of Gamertag Radio. They call it the They call it the and I'll show it real quick just to give them their props. You know what I'm saying? Because it's not a hate thing. Let me see if I can find it. Yeah, it's part of their daily conversations piece. Copy. Let me copy this real quick. Go here. And I'm only going to show it briefly because I don't know how they feel about my opinion piece or whatever. I don't know. But it's episode 857, Daily Conversation, Stadia, and Projekt Xcloud streaming service. And I'm not going to show any more of it because, like I said, I don't want any repercussions for me showing any of their images or anything like that, because what I have to say in this video is not going to be the most flattering, but it's going to be the truth for the unsuspecting gamer. If you go there and check out that episode, you'll hear a conversation between the two about Google Stadia, about their showcasing at GDC, and about the fact that Digital Foundry came in here and said that, hey, the latency is lower on Stadia than when you're playing on the Xbox One X. It's lower than the most powerful console. A cloud gaming solution is lower than the most powerful console. But again, Paris's loathing of a non-dedicated device solution is adamant in that episode, because then he says something that was peculiar to me. He highlights how that was said by Digital Foundry and how he pinged his location and it was nothing, but he said it's not ready for competition play, like, you know, games where you're playing online and you're playing competition like Street Fighter. And to me, that's absurd. If it's lower than the Xbox One X, which is a dedicated device which people play, you know, competition type games on, then why wouldn't it be feasible for that? It didn't make any sense. But again, the bias was oozing there, and sometimes I don't even think Paris understands that. But definitely check that out if you want to hear the whole episode in totality, right? And then on top of that, there was the disdain over the lack, quote unquote, of an open beta, despite the existence of a Projekt stream and the lack of an open beta from Xcloud, another unproven service. And where do I get that from? Well, let's go there. This was another tweet from Paris. He says, and he's talking about Google Stadia. Why not have an open public beta? Why is the Founders Edition being rolled out in waves? How can you be confident in the global launch of an unproven platform when nobody has seen it in a public environment? And big ups to the homie Alexander Gray here. He says they did have a public beta in 2018. It's called Projekt Stream. Like, what are we doing here? Xcloud doesn't have the open beta that you're referring to, like let anybody play it. There's only select people that they're allowing play this thing. And that's an unproven service. So again, we're talking about cloud gaming. We're talking about somebody that values being able to stream their games on the go with full mobility that cloud gaming offers. We get it that Paris doesn't see any value in that, but that's Paris. And what Paris has to understand is that he's not the all-seeing eye of the average gamer. There are people that legitimately want the benefits of cloud gaming. They don't want to spend money on dedicated devices, $300, $400, $500, or thousands of dollars if you're talking about a PC. They want to be able to, with a click of a button, just go from the man cave where I'm at now and go play in the living room like how I do every day with the click of a button. They want that. If you don't have the best device, if you want to just stream to a laptop, if you're at a coffee shop and you want to play some Destiny, stream it to your laptop, even though if it's a cheap laptop or an old one, you can do it with great fidelity. He doesn't see the benefit of that. He doesn't care about that because his particular situation is infringed upon the dedicated device. And that's fine. That's an option for him. But what Paris has to understand again is that he is not the all-seeing eye, but it's difficult for my man to do that a lot of times. So he says stuff like this, not understanding that Xcloud also didn't provide a public beta for anybody. And if I was listening to Paris's rhetoric all year, 2019 and 2018 in some cases, about streaming, and I said, oh, well, Projekt Xcloud is my clear benefit if I want to solely do cloud gaming, and I listen to Paris, I'm going to be up Craps Creek. Because out of all the services that are available now, Projekt Xcloud is the worst performing one. And somebody could play that and be like, well, I would have been better off double dipping with Stadia. I would have been better. The way that Destiny plays on here, it's not that great. I would have preferred to double dip with Stadia or go with GFN. So people have to be clear. It's not their opinions that are the problem. It's how they phrase their opinions to apply to all of gamers. No, you don't. You have no faith in cloud gaming solutions, and that's okay. There is a slither of the pie, it might even be the majority of the pie, that fits your narrative. But don't talk like you're talking blanketly for all gamers. And I say that because he said, I'm sitting there saying the things that I say because I don't want anybody to be duped. But in reverse, that's funny. The irony of it is you're duping consumers by telling them that certain platforms perform better than they actually do, and making it seem like they're more reliable than they actually are. They're reliable to you because 99.9% of your gaming is on dedicated devices. But there are some people to where it's going to be 50-50. It might be 60-40, might even be 70-30, even more, where they're going to be heavily reliant on cloud gaming, game streaming. So you don't have the right to dupe them and put them in a loop and misinform them to suit your own agenda, your own bullheaded agenda. And the list goes on and on and on. I mean, I could keep going here, but Pierce clearly has his own tastes, his own likes, and he fits into a particular bubble, and that's not the problem. The problem is that when you say stuff like, again, that an established market is okay while their competition outpaces them every step of the way. How is GFN outpacing Stadia when they're losing games? You're supposed to be gaining games and you're losing them. Major publishers are backing out from the service. I have people hit me in the DMs all the time. MM2K, I'm pissed. Why, bro? Because, man, people was telling me to get that GFN. I got it. Went and bought that Call of Duty because my rig at home ain't powerful enough to play it. But if I put it on the virtual PC, I went and bought that Call of Duty only for it to get yanked from the service. Games are not getting yanked from Stadia. They're not getting yanked from even Xbox or PlayStation for the simple fact that they own the platform they're derived from. That's a big deal, people. That is a big deal. So let's just say, for instance, Doom, when it comes out. Let's say that if Doom, when it came out, Nividia Force was still being supported by Bethesda, and I'm listening to all this rhetoric, and then I go get Doom on GFN, and let's just say if Bethesda then waited until after Doom came out and said, you know what, something ain't right here, we don't like this service, and we're yanking our service. Then here, one of the most highly anticipated games of 2020, I would have invested money in. I would have said, "Ooh, I'm going to get it on GFN via PC so I can play it on GFN because I don't have a rig strong enough to play it the way that I want to play it natively." And here, listening to lines like this, outpaces them every step of the way, I would have been lost in the sauce. That's the problem here. So, again, I'll just say this. With Pierce, he gets bullheaded about notions and goes full steam ahead until he finally calms down and is willing to be reasonable. It's just his ebb and flow. That's what very entertaining content creator and podcaster. The Gamer Tag Radio, you guys know in the past that I've said it was one of the shows that I listened to. But understand what the motivation is behind the personality. And the motivation behind that personality is simply, I have an agenda. I can't see how anybody doesn't agree with me. So I'm hammering down on it until he gets piled on enough to where he realizes, okay, maybe it was a mistake, rinse and repeat. That's his ebb and flow. So again, if you fit into the category or in the hub that Paris fits into, where you appreciate dedicated devices more than anything, and you're only going to utilize your cloud gaming in spurts, then yes, I would sit down and listen to what Paris has to say about the matter. But if you're a cloud gaming enthusiast if you plan to do a lot or the majority of your cloud gaming, majority of your gaming via the cloud, this is not a valuable resource, even though he speaks as if he is a valuable resource across the board. He's not. And rhetoric like this has led people, again, I get hit in my DMs all the time. That's why I'm so worked up and spitting all over my pop filter right now. I get hit in the DMs. Yo, I went and bought this because of rhetoric like this. What am I going to do? There's nothing they can do now. They can't return the game as bought, sealed, and delivered. Thank you, Paris. Thank you, Engadget. It's the only thing I can say. These people don't see no responsibility behind their words besides promoting their own agenda. So you got to understand that. Even with me, my agenda is, hey, let everybody speak for themselves. And you know what I'm saying? But I'm here to bring out facts the best way that I can. And I invite everybody, the console war people, the people that are more civil-minded. I don't care. I want us to have a discussion. That's my agenda. Some people don't appreciate that. So if you don't appreciate that, if you just want me to for lack of a better term, buff another entity, like how the Xbox people have abandoned me in droves because they don't want to hear the truth, then I'm not the entity that you want to go for, and I'm fine with that. That's okay. But you got to understand what's behind the operators Miranda behind these personalities. If not, you'll get lost in the sauce. Don't look at the high numbers as just to tell all be all that, oh, this person has blanket knowledge that's going to suit me. No, understand what agenda that they have. And if their agenda doesn't suit yours, then shy away from them, period. Let me go to my chat real quick. Patty X91X says, I mean, they're trash talking Stadia, but Google's still gaining money from them by doing this. I mean, that's just laughable and kind of paradox in the same way. I get it, but yeah, and that's fine, but I'm not even here for Google. I'm here for the gamer. As long as Google provides a great platform for the gamer by partition, by playing 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon, for lack of a better term, and I'm telling my age by saying that, by them being connected to that by providing a sustainable service, they'll get the benefits. But I'm not here for Google. I'm here for the unsuspecting gamer. Bippity Bop says, man, when they made that YouTube video about Stadia being whack and Stadia community wasn't having it in the comment section, and what's up, MM2K? Exactly. They're getting put to task. Now, and I don't have much time here before we go live on my other show. So let me just breeze through this. Let's now go on to Engadget. All right. I'm not going to put up the article because I am not in no way, shape, or form. I'm not going to promote their bibble babble. I refuse to. I'm not going to do it. I will say this though. Let me do this. All right. So here goes their claims. And again, I'm not going to give Engadget the time of the day by showcasing these lies, but I want to give you all the crux of their claims and the factual rebuts. Okay. First and foremost, this is what the thesis of their article and their videos are. This is chopped up into 3 parts. The first part is Stadia support is lacking as far as the devices that it covers. That second part is Google is wrong for saying Stadia relies on partners to announce games. And lastly, the Stadia versus GFN fidelity, like Stadia blows it out of the water. Okay, that's their particulars thesis in the video in the content they provided. So first and foremost, here I'm going to do this. That's why I stopped sharing my screen, because I don't even want to give credence to their bull crap. All right. Oh. So first and foremost, excuse me. Their claim is, they say in this article, meanwhile, in regards to the devices that Stadia covers, meanwhile, Stadia's competitors, Microsoft Xcloud and Nividia Geforce, now support a broad swath of Android devices. Geforce now runs on any Android device with at least 2 gigabytes of RAM and running Lollipop or higher, while Xcloud runs on Android phones with Bluetooth 4.0 or whatever. And GeForce Now has been live for less than a month after 7 years of beta testing, of course. Here's what we have to say to that. GFN's term of support is spotty, and it's as spotty as Xcloud's is. Well, no, I don't want to say that. It's spotty in the same realm of Xcloud, even though what the end user gets is way better than what Xcloud can provide. Do you have to sideload a game on said supported device when using GFN? Like how you'd have to do with Stadia now? If you want to get gameplay on that device? No. But the performance suffers from ghosting and drops more so than Stadia when Stadia is sideloaded. So what I've done, and I know this from experience, what I've done is I've done some end user testing where I took 3 brands of phones. I used a very cheap Samsung A20 phone, which is garbage, is crap. I took a higher end, what phone does my brother have? I think it's a Galaxy 9 or 10. I took a Galaxy 9, 10, and I took the Pixel 3A, which is in between all 3 of them. And I tested everything from GFN, Xcloud, even PS4 Remote Play, Steam Link, Shadow, all of them. I've tested them out thoroughly. I've done it thoroughly, okay, for several months. What I discovered is that even when I found out how you could sideload Stadia onto the stuff that Nividia and Xcloud said they quote unquote supported, Nividia still played better sideloaded via the browser portion. Meaning that in order for you to, as far as I know, in order for you to sideload Stadia on a phone, you have to open up the browser, put it in desktop mode, and then there's like this code or something that you got to put in the browser window or whatever, and to get your controller to work. But you can get it to play. You can definitely get it to play. There's Google Chrome extensions and stuff like that you can get right now in order to sideload it on. So this stuff is not supported by Google itself. But once I put that stuff on a wide range of phones and Android devices, it still looked better and performed better than GFN on those devices. So what are we talking about here? Google hasn't officially launched them because they want to make sure. Now, was it as good as the performance on the Stadia app on the supported devices? No. And I think what Google is trying to do is put quality over quantity, which I appreciate. It's just a communication of that, which is it's lackluster. But they're putting quality over quantity. They're not saying they support a device unless it hits that top tier like it does everywhere else. And that's one thing you can say about Stadia is that it performs well everywhere that it's supported. Where GFN, it's spotty. Xcloud is even spottier. Now, I will give GFN credit. They have a gambit of options where you can lower resolution and fidelity. But man, when you lower that resolution and fidelity, it looks trash. But it'll perform well. Xcloud lacks from the fact that they're trying to omit great visuals the best way that they can via 720. And I think it overloads some devices. So unless you got a high-end device, it doesn't work too well. But Stadia, everywhere where it's supported, boom. And then even when you sideload it, boom, it's better. So they need to stop this stuff. And we're going to have a video forthcoming to show that. I was trying to do a video to show how Stadia, well, I'll get into that in my next point. But that's where they're definitely false and wrong in Engadget. And those of you that have Stadia, y'all know that, right? Y'all know that. Y'all know that as a fact. Let's see here. Next point that they made. They say that Google is wrong for saying Stadia relies on partners for games. They state in the article, Google also promised to add 120 games to the service in 2020, though it hasn't shared specific titles, and it said it's up to the publishers to announce their Stadia Fair. Players are left wondering whether their favorite franchises will launch on the platform and when Google has revealed new Stadia titles. This list is consistently underwhelming. Let me say this. Part of this, and this is where I do agree with my homie Duncan. Part of this, Stadia put its own target on its own back. they came out on the scene and they said, hey, look, our performance is going to ruck with and bang with the Xbox One X and the PlayStation 4 Pro. And the way that they took that, the general public, is that out the gate it was coming that way. And it hasn't. And it was clear that Google Stadia was talking in state. It wasn't air apparent there. And I'm okay with that, with the fact that people hammered them about that. But we're beyond that now. We know the deal, that they were talking in state. Even Digital Foundry, in their highest form of their rhetoric, said, we looked at the specs, it's going to be able to emit power. It's just a shame that because of these ports are being done, that before it launched, it isn't emitting that power now. And people are just feel that Stadia shouldn't launch until the developers got it to the point to emit the end state, which to me is ridiculous, because no console, even established ones, launch with games that look the best way that it's going to launch, look at the end of the console generation, even dedicated devices. There were not games that launch for the PlayStation 4. What looks as good as God of War? What looks as good as God of War? Someone please help me understand this. What looks as good as God of War at the PlayStation 4 launch? Nothing. It takes time to get to that plateau. It takes time to get there. And even at launch, let's look at the titles that Google Stadia is proposing within 90 days of the launch. I think it does compete highly against, what Xbox or even PlayStation had to offer in its first 90 days. So I get partially where the target is on their back, but some of the stuff is ridiculous. And what makes this part of Engadget's comment a farce is the simple fact that Google Stadia tried it y'all way. After they said it was up to the partners and they got hammered for it, they tried it their way. And they stepped out of order and announced Baldur's Gate 3 before they were supposed to. And that was a bad deal, because Larian Studios had to come back and say, no, this was made out of order, which then the media interpreted as, oh, it's not coming in 2020, right? Which that's not what the Stadia said. That's not what the Larian Studios announcement says. And they harmed a fragile relationship that's new formed. See, Stadia can't do what Phil Spencer does over at Xbox, announcing games is coming out of order and cannibalizing sales for their third-party developers. People are going to get upset about that when Phil does it, but they're not going anywhere. Microsoft is established and they're leaving too much money on the table. Google, on the other hand, isn't established yet. They can't afford to do that. Now, they slipped up and they did it this time, but look at the ramifications are a lot more severe. So that was stupid. That was idiotic of Engadget to put out there directly after we see the results of them doing what Engadget said they should do. It's stupid. Who are these people that run this publication? Have any of them had CAT scans? How stupid can you be in lieu of something that just happened, showing why the direction you want them to go was the wrong direction? Why do you post something that says, yeah, do that wrong again? And we should listen to you? I mean, I should cut the stream right now, really. I should cut it right now. But again, we have the unsuspecting gamer out here. This is a well-recognized publication. They don't know any better. So at least let's put the full gambit of facts out there. That's why I got to do this. Lastly, they say Stadia versus GFN fidelity. They actually said that Stadia tends to look worse. The word tends means more often than not. For those of you that play Google Stadia, that have held the Stadia in your hand, and those that have tried GFN, y'all know better. Y'all know better. Y'all know better. Let's do this right here. Get him, y'all. He want to come up here and he want to spam. So we're going to get him. 706 Gamer says Stadia's pricing and accessibility is underwhelming. Is Xbox's pricing and accessibility underwhelming? Is it? Because the last time I checked 706 Gamer, they're charging you the same price for the games. And actually in Christmas time, when Stadia had big sales and big drops, Xbox got scared and had to price match them. So if Stadia's pricing and accessibility is underwhelming, then Xbox is a complete failure, right? And then as far as accessibility is concerned, when you load Xcloud on lower end devices, you can't play those games. Now, 706 Gamer, I want you to say here high on the airwaves, because you come here and see Stadia Dosage is all about the truth. The truth, brother. This ain't the behind the scenes DM. I'm gonna throw you behind under the bus. If you will come in with that rhetoric, tell me right now that every single game on Xcloud works well. Tell me that. Tell me every single game on Xcloud works well. Okay. I'll wait for it. And he won't do that. But that's my brother 706 Game. I love giving him a hard time because he loves coming in with his babble. But that's the craziest thing from them, that it tends to look worse. Those of you that have tried this, there are certain games, don't get me wrong. There are certain games, and when I talk about these games, I'm representing all three. Hold on, let me do something real quick, because I don't want to miss. I'm going to get notified when we're about to go live, and I got to wrap this up soon, because they're going to call me. I get where, okay, there's three parts to this. There's the Stadia browser, the Stadia CCU, the Chromecast Ultra, and then there's the Nividia Geforce Now client that I'm talking about. The phone is not even a comparison. I don't even want to do that to GFN right now. We're just going to talk about their best element, which is their client. Okay, which is their app you install on a PC, and it gives you the best fidelity possible with GFN. All right. There are games that if you crank all the way up to 50 megabytes per second, let me do something real quick. If you crank the games up to all the way up to 50 megabytes per second on GFN, they do look better than the same game on the web browser. They do. I would be lying and telling you that there's no game on GFN, because what GFN does is it gives you a virtual PC and it allows you to go it allows you to go on the virtual PC and gives you virtual RAM, and you can crank everything up to ultimate, right? You can do that. So with GFN, if you crank it all the way up to where they claim is 50 gigabytes per second, and it's only 50 gigabytes per second, 50 megabytes per second, and it only results in 15 gigabytes an hour, where the 1080 mode in Stadia is 12 gigabytes an hour, right? You know, so is that trade-off worth it? For a lot of people, maybe not. For it to be slightly better on the web browser, but it still can't match the CCU. And there are some games where it's like that. I will say that Destiny 2 definitely looks better on the GFN client than it does on the web browser. I will say that Division 2 looks better on the GFN client than it does the Stadia web browser. That's it. That is it. I've tried a gambit of games on there, and there might be others out there, but it's not commonality that it's like that. I'm telling you. Let me see if I can find a tweet from here just to show y'all what I'm talking about here, because people think I'm lying. Let's see here. All right, let's do this. Let's copy this real quick, and let's go right here. All right, and then I'm going to post this right here like so. And I want to do this. I don't want to show y'all everything just yet. Oh, okay, here we go. All right, let me share my screen. Oh, excuse me. Oh, excuse the pig. I want to share my screen again. Boom. Look at that. Look at this. After seeing Destiny 2 look impressive on the PC client, I was excited when I sideloaded GFN on my Firecube TV and cranked up the settings. This was the result. Minecraft 76. Look at that. Look at this. What? What are we doing here? And the Firecube TV, it rocks with the Nividia Shield. I mean, it's not as powerful, but it's very powerful. I sideloaded Stadia on there, and it works great. And this is a hardwire connection. Through the Firecube TV, I was able to hardwire my connection. And I got similar results. Well, I said, no, maybe it's just the Firecube. I went upstairs to my $1,300 computer with the 2700 in it and got the same results off the client. Everything is not reliable. That could be why Bethesda pulled their stuff off. They're like, this crap is horrible. Like, stop it. Like, what are we doing here? What are we doing here? Bippity Bop says, now I will say some games look better without HDR and just 4K on the CCU like Destiny 2, but Shadow of the Tomb Raider on 4K, HDR 60, oh my God, exactly. Like, we need to stop this silliness. What are we doing here when we got people like myself and Bippity Bop and other people that are putting out videos showing otherwise? You want to put everything on the line? You want to lie to kick it like that? Is it that serious? You're not going to get away with it. You just can't. So in other games like Ghost Recon and Breakpoint, Wolfenstein, there's no comparison. You get stuff that looks like this. Ghosting, you get a lot more lag, a lot more spotty connections. There's this like little radio icon that'll come on your screen. Oh, connection spotty. You guys, when y'all see me doing Division 2 from my $1,300 computer, hardwired, I get that notification every single stream on GFN. I hardly ever see that thing on Stadia. Like, what is we doing here? Thank you, Xavier Bay. I appreciate you, good brother. I am going to get my homie Xavier Bay on the show. Me and Xavier Bay, we appreciate Stadia, but we have our disagreements about Xbox. But I love the diversity of thought. And Xavier Bay, fellow broadband bully brethren, you know what I'm saying? We love to get you back on the show, bro. You know what I'm saying? But that's my man. And we haven't always agreed about stuff, but hey, diversity of thought keeps everything rolling. But like, what is we doing here? Like, can we stop with the silliness? Do y'all now see why I say the blue check marks next to the name and the high numbers are not their integrity score? They're full of it and they have agendas. I don't know, people are like, why are you yelling? Ain't you seen my movies, Deep Blue Sea? This is how I talk. Big ups to Dave Chappelle. Be stealing his material. Anyway, but y'all get my point now. Do y'all see where I'm coming from? All right. And then what I do want to say is that I'm very proud. Let me see something here. Did they hit me up yet? I just want to make sure I don't go over. I'm going to wrap this up real quick, y'all, because I do want y'all to get y'all. I do want y'all to get some comments in here and some questions. I do want y'all to get some comments and questions. He said, yo, Moss, let me see. Hold on 1 second. Okay. Nethos need me to update something. All right. So here's the last point that I want to make in regards to what Engadget has to say. I want to show y'all this. People are putting them up to task, man. And kudos to them. They're all over their website. And most of the likes that are on what they have to say, they're spot on. I want to show y'all these comments. And hey, Nethos, if you're hey, Neth, can we go live at 2? Hold on, I'm sorry, y'all. Can we go live at 2? I'm hot now, baby. I'm hot. Nethos, did you watch it? Can we go live at 2, man? Nethos is the producer of the Best Damn Podcast, period. Definitely check out next year's 720. I'm hot now, baby. I can't cut this short. I can't do it. But here, let me do. And they're putting them to task, man. I really appreciate it. I really appreciate it. So here, let me share this. So this is the article. Oh man, they didn't hold on. Uh-oh. What's going on here? I'm gonna show these comments. Didn't take me directly to the comment. Let me see here. All right. Oh, I love this comment right here. This right here. It says, I failed to agree with Tony. Coming from a person that's run a business, you fail many times before you succeed. I also don't understand all the skepticism. It's actually blowing Xcloud and GFN out of the water. GFN just got hard without Blizzard Activision games in their library. And we all know that a deal was signed. It isn't indicative that something is coming, but it's more likely than not that we're going to get Activision Blizzard support. There is also some pretty severe limitations with each platform. From GFN's latency download, I read previous replies that here talked about it and even working sometimes. That's a problem and not something I've experienced using Stadia. The limitations of Xcloud is even worse. But he goes on to say about Stadia, yet I hear people complain about iOS functionality when it comes to Stadia. And my homeboy Nethos said that the iOS performance on Xcloud is horrendous. What I hear people complain is that they want a Stadia end goal at the very beginning. How is this remotely logical? Do I think Google failed a bit with communication? Absolutely. But with people this obsessively keeping track of every single syllable said and then disappointed when things don't shape up exactly as you imagine, this is called life. Give me 1 second. Sorry about that. I thought the general needed something. All right. There was some other comments out here that echoed the same sentiment. And when you look at them, they have the most likes. That's what, this one is a good comment, but I had links to them and now they're not working. I think Engadget got wind of me. They got wind of me trying to do this show. Here goes one for Mark. I have all three, and Stadia outperforms both Xcloud and Geforce now. Always playable. I got Breakpoint on sale for $30. I mean, there's more and more of this out here. I wish I could show you, but I'm running short on time. But definitely, I will say this. Definitely check out the article only for the comment section. They get the most likes, and there are plenty of them out there, which I would say even a month ago, you didn't see the Stadia brigade out there in forces defending Stadia the way that they are now. But this stuff is just over the top. This is rhetoric that I don't even know where this is coming from. Is somebody dropping duffel bags over at Engadget? Are your clicks that low? I mean, we've already shown where Rooster Teeth was having trouble. They made their crazy video. And Engadget is just following through the same old muck. Bippity Bop says, yeah, I saw that. They liked 20 likes and comments from people that had no idea what they were talking about. Likes 1 or 2. Yep. Hold on. Maybe I got this up to. Maybe I got this up too high. There was one comment in particular that let me see. I think it had like 60 likes. Let's see if I can find it. And none of their stuff had 60 likes. None of this other bull crap had 60 likes. Wish I could find it. Maybe if I do something like this. Nah, it ain't gonna let me do it. Dang, man. Dang, damn it. If I can find it. Yeah, but no, the team is out there in full force. They are especially letting Engadget know about the mistakes that they're making. And I'm proud that they're doing that, because what people often do is they now scroll through the comment section to prove whether something that's being said is right or wrong. All right. lastly, let's do this before we get to you guys' comments. I just want to say this. Let me do this. Let me pull this out. Let me close everything up because I don't want all this stuff bogging down my come on. Okay, there we go. All right, so I say all that to say this. That as far as the head-to-head is concerned, GeForce now definitely has issues. It definitely has issues. Do not listen to the rhetoric that Harris Lilly was promoting out there. I mean, he didn't create it. I'm not saying he created it, but definitely do not listen to that rhetoric because it's a farce. It definitely has issues. It is not outperforming Stadia in every which way. And I say that based upon something that I put in one of my previous tweets. And I keep doing this, and I shouldn't be doing that. Okay. Let me click over here. And I said, honestly, I detest having to entertain bloviating like this far in the game, especially after people bought games specifically for GFN only to lose their money. I created a reference for those who want the truth and the facts. Engadget clearly has an agenda. And here's the tweet that I was talking about. There's stuff like this that shows where Nividia Geforce doesn't compare as far as a sole cloud gaming solution is concerned. If you're someone like Paris who only wants cloud gaming to offset your PC lineup, then yes, you may prefer GFN in some realms because, look, let's be honest, they're losing games. You may not prefer it in the future, but right now, GFN I can see being your preference if you're not looking for it to be a sole cloud dedicated solution. Here goes the examples that I have. Reporter defines Stadia benefits over GFN and others. There's a YouTube video that we did on that at Stadia Dosage. Why GFN is far from destroying Stadia. We outline another video. Then we talk about people buy games on GFN and lose access to them. This is just from last week. We got a video about that now. Then let's go into some other stuff. Load times, all right? When y'all talk about false advertisement, we had publications out here saying that fortunately, Nividia's blazing fast servers download games in the blink of an eye. What? Is that so? Because if that's the case, then why did I experience this? I got to download 11 gigs on this particular thing via Nividia GeForce. Now, just signed up for Nividia GeForce PC client, already dealing with graphic user interface issues and downloads. Stadia killer. Yeah, right. Yeah, we good. I'm sorry. I'm just commenting because we're about to go live with our other show. Secondly, here's something else that we got to deal with. Okay. Oh my effing God. I was downloading that 11 gigabytes for Ghost Recon Breakpoint that took forever, unlike PC Rule told us, right? Remember they told us that they had laser fast download speeds and got booted for inactivity. Meaning what GFN does is it says you have been active for X amount of time and they boot you from the servers. But I was only inactive because I was downloading this 11 gigabyte download. Again, is this your King PC world? Stadia killer? And look, I'm showing you where I'm still downloading this again. This is another download. And I keep getting booted. And then the download, if you look at it, is 23 minutes. Now, I end up panning out to only be 15 minutes, but still, all it takes is 10 minutes of inactivity, I believe, 10 or 15 minutes, and they boot you from the server. And to show I'm not making this stuff up, and I'm not recycling the same screen, I put my triple fat figures out there, and I show you this is the third time this has happened. I got booted and had to download. Like, what is we doing here? Like, come on, what is we doing here? Okay? So, in all, I want to show you guys this too, and then we're going to get to y'all questions. because I was granted an additional 10 minutes here. All in all, let's do this. This is a presentation that I made in regards to GFN versus Google Stadia. Okay, let me go back a little bit. All right, so just when I did the head-to-head, and overall, I did at the time. This was before GFN started losing games. At the time, I gave GFN a 3.4 out of 5. That's because the cost of the service is fantastic, 4.5 out of 5. The cost of the games is great because you're getting PC games, which is like the cheapest on retail. But the max performance cost, you know what I mean? Like if you want to get something that outdoes the CCU, then you got to hop on a PC. You know what I'm saying? And that's going to cost you a pretty penny. Right? And then if we talk long-term, which to be fair, maybe we shouldn't get it, but if we talk long-term, we know that this service isn't going to stay $5. This is going to be $15, maybe even $20 a month in order for them to do this. They can't, as Chase has alluded to, they can't sustain this model at $5 a month. It's just not going to happen. Then the dependability of the service, 2 out of 5. The dependability is bad for the simple fact that it doesn't work great on all of the quote unquote supported devices. And now games are getting yanked. I might have to make that a 1.5 or maybe even a 1 because people bought games on the service and now they've lost access to them, or they bought games to utilize on the service. They don't have dedicated device that can run it on PC. And now they've lost access to it because it's no longer supported. Say it all at once, y'all. Thank you, Paris. Thank you, Engadget. Now, on the flip side, I didn't give Google Stadia 5 out of 5. I gave it a 3.8 out of 5. The library is what's hindering it now. But the dependability is 4.5 out of 5. I mean, this thing is just flawless. When the first day that I got my Founders Edition, I said, because I wanted to test it in the worst atmosphere, period. I made my wife watch a 4K video. My son was doing something on a computer on YouTube at 4K. I was watching a 4K video on Hulu on the same unit that I was running the browser off of when I made my very first Destiny video, and y'all can see it here on this channel. All that was happening at the same damn time as the song goes. And look how fantastic it looked. I can have everything shut down on GFN and I'll still get that radio thing. Oh, spotty connection, and it'll start staggering sometimes. I get it every game. Every game. It doesn't last forever, but I get it every game. So the dependability of the service is supreme. But here's the thing. Even though I feel that way, GFN has its benefits. If you have a large PC library, want cheap PC games, not looking for consistent performance with the library available, meaning that you ain't looking to play every single game. Let's just say you got Cyberpunk 2077, and you're like, ooh, out of all my games, that's the game I would like to play on the go. Get Nividia Geforce. Get Nividia Geforce. But go with Stadia if you want high fidelity gaming with cheap entry. You don't want to pay $500 for the world's most powerful console that has more latency than a cloud gaming experience, right? You don't want to pay $500 for that. You have good internet. At the time that I made that original Destiny video, not the one on the phones, but the one where I was streaming Destiny for the first time, I only had 50 up and 50 down. And I was doing all that stuff at the same damn time. I'm running a 4K video. My wife was watching something 4K. My son was on YouTube. And on the same computer, I was running Destiny off the browser. If you want uninterrupted gaming over the cloud, you don't want no game sessions. Can you imagine? Now, people may say, well, 6 hours is a lot because GFN gives you 2 options. You get a 1 hour option and a 6 hour option. But can you imagine? Y'all talk all this stuff about how Destiny looks so much better, which it does on a web browser, not on a CCU. But can you imagine doing a raid in Destiny? You're almost there. Everybody's doing their thing, but everybody has to be laser sharp in order to finish the raid. And then all of a sudden, you get on your screen, 2 minutes left to go. Like, come on now. And you in hours of gameplay in the raid for your comrades because GFN at most gives you 6-hour game sessions before it boots you back out and recycles you back in queue. That's not reliable. But if you listen to Paris and Engadget, it is. And if you want the best cloud gaming performance for no more than $10 a month long term, then go with Stadia. Stadia got to get the games. But of course, just like any other console at launch, they got to get more games. Some consoles only launch with maybe a dozen games. As Xavier Bay said at, he would say all the time, Google Stadia is launching with 30 games. What platform maker launches with 30 games? Big ups to Xavier Bay on that. Again, nobody is saying that Stadia is perfect or it needs to be the final, or this, what we're getting right now, is great as the final product. No, absolutely not. And nobody is saying GFN is horrible. But what has to happen is people with the blue check marks and the high numbers next to their name, they need to start acting with integrity. They need to put away their bullish agendas and look out for the unsuspecting gamer. Stop presenting their personal opinions as global facts instead of using the global facts to help promote and help people understand their personal opinions. Regardless if they heed or not, we at the Stadia, Dosage, and others, now as I've shown you in the Engadget comments, we will be breathing down your necks to ensure that they no longer hurt gamers in the wallet by boosting up products that do not foot their personal bill, period. Because this is ridiculous. I'm not even going to lie to y'all. I was repulsed and disgusted when I saw that when I started getting messages in the DMs, man, when people started hitting me up and they said MM2K, bruh, I went and got Call of Duty, man. And now, because I don't have a powerful console, everybody told me that this GFN was the lick. Like, what's going on? That's a hurt piece, man. But if y'all got questions, let's go ahead. I got a couple minutes before I got to roll. I'll take some questions, man. The homie Mule Spud. Let me put this out here. He says MM2K is the Sync Euchre of Stadia community. He should start ending his rants with Stadia Dosage. I appreciate you, Mule, and I hope I didn't butcher your name, man. Thank you for the support, man. But no, this is repulsive. Like, and I get it. You feel staunchly about the way that you feel. But present it like that. Don't say silly stuff like, I don't want little Timmy to buy Google Stadia and not get and think it's something else. These kids know what they're getting into. And a lot of kids want to play the games that they've been playing on their console at 60 frames per second. They're not getting it on console for the most part now. What I don't want to see is the actual, I don't want to see the stupid test cases that you're talking about that don't exist. I don't want to see in real life people hit me in my DMs saying I wasted $60 on this game because they listened to your BS. That's what I don't want to see. That's real life stuff. That's horrible. And I consider myself a consumer advocate. That's why I go off like this. Because I remember the days when I would go to the people with the equivalent of the blue check marks in these retail stores that should know what they're talking about, and they don't. But because they want to feel like they're the all-seeing eye, they tell you stuff that they're not knowledgeable of. And then you lose out on the tail end of that. There is no way that anybody of sound mind and body can say that GFN is outperforming Stadia in every way and tell the truth. If you want to say, yeah, GFN is a better product because of this, that, or the other, I think that a lot more people will prefer GFN. I get that. But there are some critical things that are important to people that GFN does not provide. And we laid it out all here. Any more questions before I roll? Bippity Bob says, at Stadia Weekly, hell yes. Maybe that's going to happen. The BR mode launches in March, and base looks like it's coming next month. So Shay Capo says, and this is a big time supporter, but he loves Razm. He says, this is obviously Google not doing good enough job of keeping these writers in the loop. Hey, Shay, not like this, homie. Hey, yo, let me let them know I'm coming. I'm coming. I'm coming. I'm coming. Woo! This is fun. This is beyond me, bro. Oh man. Shay, we had Engadget. Engadget sat down with Google Stadia and did an interview. And all this rhetoric is based off the interview that they just did with them. So they got Google in, talked to them, questioned them about some things, and then waited until they left and just started hammering them. Like, they didn't even have the gall to do it in their face like my man did at Fortune magazine when he was talking to Phil. They were too spineless to give them that work in their face. So they talked to him for a little bit, maybe pushed on a couple of things, wait till homie left, and then dogged him out in subsequent, what's it called? They're in the know, but they get clicks. I'm telling you, they get clicks in AdSense revenue from doing this type of stuff. And because you guys are none the wiser, y'all fall for this stuff all the time. And I'm not too worried about that. I'm not too worried about Google's reputation. They're $1 billion company. That's for them to worry about. I have the resources to carry Google's reputation on my back. My problem is what's being done to the unsuspecting gamer. I am getting people DMing me, messaging me, telling me, hey, I fell for the rhetoric. I bought this game because so-and-so told me this. And they're out here telling me that I should be worried about an imaginary Timmy telling his mom to buy him Google Stadia, and they don't get the game lineup that Timmy thought was there. Like Timmy don't know how to click and look at the damn score. I got real life people that are hurt by this. I'm not trying to hear that garbage. Michael says, MM2K, listen to me. Stadia has nothing on GFN. No way, man. He says, I'm only joking. Hey, man, if that's your personal preference, that's fine. Not a problem. I don't have a problem with that. But don't sit there and say that. Don't say stuff like this. Don't say that. Don't say that GFN destroys Stadia in every way possible. I feel that GFN is a better product because of XYZ. They are not outpacing you. They are losing games. How are you outpacing me if you're losing games? Even if your lineup is still low, you're losing games. You're losing big publishers where Stadia is set up to have those same big publishers come on board with them. How are you outpacing them then? It's all about the games. And admittedly, Stadia is lacking in that effort, and they got to do better. All right, it's time to wrap this up. All right, so that's it, people. I appreciate all of y'all. Thank you for coming out and sub, like, and share this so people are in the know. And if you want to listen to some raunchy comments on gaming, come on over to Best Damn Podcast, Next Gen 720's channel out on YouTube. And with that being said, I appreciate all of y'all. Thank y'all so much for coming through. And you have a wonderful, wonderful gaming day. Peace.
Stay sick cause I follow my gut. They say I was pushing my luck. I'ma push me, I'm at all black truck. Oh, I'm not sorry.